Essere sempre vicino al limite, andare oltre ciò che è noto, giungere a territori inesplorati per poi ripetere nuovamente il ciclo. Potrebbe essere questa la sintesi del percorso musicale di Bill Bruford, uno dei batteristi più importanti della storia della musica della seconda metà del XX secolo. Formatosi come jazzista, in seguito è diventato un artista di spicco della scena progressive inglese fin dalla fine degli anni 60, suonando in gruppi fondamentali. Fra i più famosi gli Yes, dei quali fu membro fondatore, e i King Crimson, collaborando anche con Genesis, Gong e National Health. Ha avuto anche un prolifico percorso da solista con il supergruppo UK, l'omonimo progetto e gli Heartworks. Bruford è famoso soprattutto per aver rivoluzionato la tecnica nella batteria contemporanea, utilizzando in modo innovativo la batteria acustica e la batteria elettronica, unendo un forte senso della melodia all'uso di soluzioni poliritmiche complesse, ma al tempo stesso funzionali alla musica. L'estrema variabilità del suo kit dagli inizi fino ad ora testimonia infatti il suo interesse a sperimentare, integrando il set di base con percussioni elettroniche, octoban, rototom e altri effetti. Nel 2009 ha annunciato il suo ritiro dalle scene per dedicarsi alla didattica e alla scrittura, riprendendo in mano le bacchette nel 2022, tornando ad esibirsi dal vivo con il Pit Road Trio. Abbiamo incontrato Bill Bruford a Teramo il 17 luglio del 2025, in occasione della sua partecipazione al Let's Get Lost Festival, organizzato dall'associazione Music by Eder. È stata un'occasione unica per ripercorrere il suo straordinario percorso sonoro e creativo, costantemente vicino al limite. Mr. Bill Bruford, sono un batterista e suono la batteria perché ho ascoltato i dischi dove tu stesso hai suonato. Per me sei stato e sei tuttora un esempio da seguire, un punto di partenza. Cosa provi ad essere un esempio per un'altra persona, per me in questo caso?
I'm flattered and honored that people like what I do, and they're more than welcome to steal as much of it as possible. And I hope I influence them in good ways, about not just drumming, but about music and approach to music and what music means to people and what you can get out of it. What you can get out of music, of course, largely depends on what you can give to it. So I would recommend to any young people, don't think so much about what you can screw out of music. Think what you can give to it, and then you'll probably be okay.
Yes, King Crimson, Genesis. Tu hai suonato con tutti e tre questi gruppi. Puoi dirci cosa ti hanno dato come persona e come musicista?
It was an exciting time. I felt I could play anything I wanted to play with any of these people. And broadly that seemed to work. And I learned a lot about working in small groups, which I like a lot. Small groups from 2 to about 6 or 7 people is an area I like to work in a lot. What else did it give me? Lots of experience, of course, and sometimes thinking about what it is the other musicians are hearing from you. The problem with drummers, and it might be with you too, you never know, is that drummers tend to think as far as the cymbals and they kind of stop around the time of the cymbals. In Earthworks we used to have nice sound checks where the drummer would go and play the keyboards, the keyboard player would play the bass player would play the saxophone, and the saxophonist would play the drums. See what I mean? You'd go around in a circle, playing the instruments from each other's point of view or hearing position. What's it like to hold an electric bass? You know, I don't know, but it's great exercise to do that, to feel what it sounds like, you know. It's a very strong thing to do in bands, I think, and we should do that actually, guys. I think we should definitely start thinking about moving around. Can I play on bass? You'd be okay? Don't break. Drums, anyone, Pete? I think you're on drums. You're on drums. So hearing life from other people's point of view is very important in music, and I think I learned that in my early years. Sure.
Parliamo di Close to the Edge. Se puoi dirci una curiosità, insomma, su questo grande disco, in particolare sulle sessioni di registrazione in studio con l'ingegnere del suono, Eddie Offord.
Well, I have no particular stories. It was quite common in those days to record long songs, and often you start the song without knowing the ending. So you would record 24 bars and stop and say, well, that's as far as we've got, what should we do now? And you think another section, and you rehearse that and record it right then and there, and then maybe stop, and you're halfway through. You pack up the drums, literally, go up the highway to Newcastle, play a gig, come back down, set the drums up again. Now, where were we? Yes, we'd done 24 bars of that and 24 bars of that. Right, off we go again. And you have to set the mics up so it sounds the same, because some other group has been in the recording studio between sessions. So that's a bit unusual. And if you're a good drummer, I can tell. If you listen to the snare drum through much of that particular album, you'll hear it detunes itself as it goes on through the record. So the pitch at the end of the record is much lower than the pitch at the top of the record, interestingly.
Dopo aver registrato Close to the Edge, lasci gli Yes e ti unisci ai King Crimson. Registri 3 album, Larkstones in Aspic, Starless and Bible Black, Red. Per me in questi dischi hai fatto evolvere il concetto della batteria a livelli non ancora esplorati. Che ricordi hai di questa tua lunga esperienza nei King Crimson?
You know, I'm not sure I changed the way we looked at drumming. I'm not sure it's quite that far. But I suppose I did some fairly unusual things. As a youngster, I always found it more interesting or easier to contribute something interesting in an odd meter than in 4/4. I don't know why. Call me old-fashioned. I just found something more interesting to play in an odd meter, as you probably know, than in 4/4. So often we played in odd meters, presumably to satisfy me. I don't think anybody else wanted to, which is funny, isn't it? But it was a wide open group, and it had a lot of improvisation in it too, actually. But in a European sort of art improvisation style, nothing at all related to the black jazz experience, pentatonic scale and blues as we know it. Nothing at all. There wasn't a blue note in King Crimson. There's plenty of dissonance, but certainly no blue notes.
Hai suonato con i Genesis nel tour del disco Trick of the Tail. Com'è stato suonare al fianco di un altro grande batterista come Phil Collins?
Well, it was a pleasure playing alongside Phil, but I didn't enjoy the experience very much of being in the band. Not because there was anything wrong with the band at all, but I had no connection to it, to the music. I was just what they call a session musician, who just comes in and plays the things, so you play what you have to play, and then you go. Which on one level is very easy, but on another level, if what makes you want to play music is something on the emotional side or the empathetic side or the working together with other people to produce something that neither of you knew you could produce, which is what I like, then of course being a sideman, what they call, or a session man in Genesis, was not really to my liking. So I did about 9 months, quite a long tour, at the end of which I said, this is really for someone else. You know, I'm not the best guy for that. I found that out in Genesis.
Durante la tua carriera hai sperimentato molto con le batterie elettroniche. A quei tempi fu vista come una cosa futuristica nell'ambito della musica rock. Possiamo dire che hai avuto coraggio ad accettare la sfida delle batterie elettroniche?
Well, it was a dirty job. Someone had to do it. You know, there they were sitting there, and I was in a position to experiment with bands I was in, one or another, particularly King Crimson, of course. And they emerged at the same time as Roland guitar synthesizers, as Simmons electronic pads, as Tony Levin's Chapman stick. All this new stuff was able to make sounds with, and interesting sounds in the early 1980s. And at one time we sent Tony Levin out to count the number of sonic sound processing devices on the stage. And he came back with the number 84, which was a lot of pedals. You guys can do all that, of course, in your box this size. It's fantastic.
Che cosa hai pensato ai tempi del punk, quando esplose nella seconda metà degli anni 70? E se secondo te è un fenomeno che avete superato con i nuovi King Crimson, che si riformarono negli anni 80?
I suppose so, because Robert was quite prescient in the sense that he felt we were becoming outdated in 74 and we should start again somehow. Let the punk thing do what it's going to do. Wash the dirty linen, and it would maybe refresh us. And so it's true that in 1980 we came back with a whole bunch of new things. Minimalism, guitar synthesis, Adrian Belews, half speaking, half singing, that kind of thing. It was all a newer sound. So if you had come to a King Crimson concert in 1974, you wouldn't have thought it was the same band at all in 1980. And indeed it wasn't the same band, and it played completely different repertoire. So some people wanted their money back. Interesting, when is a band not a band? That's a great conversation for dinner. Yeah.
Quali sono i tuoi batteristi preferiti, attuali e di quando eri più giovane?
When I was young, I was really big with Joe Morello and Art Blakey, probably, for the thunderous sound on the drums, and Max Roach for his elegance. Very elegant drummer, very cool. Very nice little composed things, like for Big Sid and those drum things he did. Self-Portrait, do you know Self-Portrait? It's a lovely rhythm. Yeah, he did Self-Portrait, and I played that several times in gigs. But later on, everybody, and the young people today are fantastic. Oh, breathtaking, some of the young people today. Absolutely amazing. But Ari Hoenig is one of my favorites right now, and Bill Stewart, of course. All the great, there's dozens of drummers. I can't name names, I can't remember anybody's name anyway. Mark Giuliano, fabulous. But it all changes all the time. And it's a kind of interesting intersection now between jazz and hip-hop. So most of the guys can go between the two. It's absolutely amazing how great it is. And hip-hop and jazz are close. One's lighter, faster moving, more variable. But the feel is kind of similar. And I'm often going between what you would call a jazz swing and a straight back. I'm often going between the two, thinking, well, which is which? I don't care anymore. It's blurred over. It's nice. Very good intersection right now.
Come stai vivendo questo tuo ritorno alla musica dopo 13 anni di silenzio, dal 2009 al 2022?
It's been surprising, actually, because I just thought things would be the same. But things have changed a lot in 13 years. It's like you work in a business, you leave the business, you go away for 13 years, you come back, everything's changed, you know, and let's be a doctor, a dentist, a musician, everything. And it's digitized now. So everything is twice as hard work, twice as fast, twice as much trouble, twice as many emails, and a lot of work. But it's great.
Suonare jazz esplorando nuovi territori. Possiamo dire che sei tornato alle tue radici musicali.
Yeah, I grew up as a jazz guy, but I got diverted through progressive rock.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to, but I got diverted. And now I think it's fair to say I come back to music that is intimate and interactive, which is important for me.
Suoni con Pete Roth e Mike Pratt in piccoli club o piccole città in giro per il mondo, come Teramo in questo caso. Stai vivendo quindi il jazz nella sua natura autentica, lo spazio piccolo.
Yes, that is its authentic nature. That's great, authentic nature, exactly. It means that we can, from stage, we can see you. We can see how the music attracts you or repels you, or whether you like it or not. So we can see your eyes. I like that. I think that's great.
Quali sono i tuoi obiettivi personali per i prossimi anni?
Personal goals to remain in this band and take drumming to ever higher, greater, grander things than it is already at.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure, Signor. My pleasure.